Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, this doesn't look much different from what we were working with last time, but give it a minute. Now, what if we were to change this into so let's be very careful. There we go. Now, mind you, I might want to change that color so that I'm not confused. So let me change the color then. So we'll have a minus here, and a plus there. No. At this point, we'll be doing something called, right? We'll be doing a thing called completing the square, right? So when we flip around the ax squared and move it from the furthest right and put it to the furthest left, then of course, that's the first thing you need to do when you're doing something like this. Now, I am going to say this, right? When it comes to dealing with these, when you have a positive x squared, it's pretty easy. You know, it's pedestrian. You just follow the steps. But with this, we have to be very, very, very careful, right? So let's see what we're going to do now. Let's see. Okay, so might as well get into the what they call the fun stuff. So why not? All right, so let's put a bracket. What? Okay, okay. That was a lot of fun. No. So we're gonna put a bracket down. Oh Lord, you know what? No, hold on. Let's see. Really? Hold on. I thought, okay. I want to move it from there we go. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of need it to be like this, right? So maybe I need to get rid of this now. So you know what? Let me, okay. All right, watch this now. So I'll screenshot that first and then get rid of that because we're gonna have to focus on it looking like this. We are completing the square, so let's not make it awkward, yeah? All right. So we have a 63x squared, 23x. There we go, right? Jesus. you know what? Nah. let me write that back over. Right? You see, it's a little too high, a little too close to the ceiling there, yeah? Right. Um, why did I just black out? Why did I black out? Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah. All right. So finally, let's get to the fun part of it now. So we have this, we have this, we have this, and let's just save ourselves some time. The plus 56 goes here, right? And let's not waste any time. We're gonna have a minus whatever squared multiplied by whatever is on the outside. Now what's gonna go on the outside is minus 63. Therefore, this is going to be a minus 63. Right? So let's save ourselves that trouble. Now, if we divide minus 63x squared by minus 63, then naturally, we're going to end up with just x squared, right? So that is why the first term we get is going to be x squared, right? So we have that. Now the next thing is going to be minus 23x divided by minus 63. Now, what would we get here? The minus is canceled, and it's going to be a plus 23x over 63. Okay. All right. That was a tad unexpected, yeah? Tad unexpected. And then, of course, we'll have another plus. All right. And of course, this part, right? So just so we understand it, right? So we can. So this is going to be the positive blank squared. This is going to be the negative blank squared, right? So just to give us context, right? So we have a positive version of the blank squared and a negative version of the blank squared, right? Now here's where things get fun as well. We might as well cancel this and cancel this, right? Meaning it's going to just become whatever the outcome is, you're going to, all of them go be plus signs out here, right? So let's save ourselves the time instead of the confusion that will take place later, right? So them cancel already. The negative times the negative, that will cancel. So we're not even going to waste any time, yeah? All right, so what is supposed to happen in that bracket though? What we're supposed to get in that bracket is we're going to multiply. Yeah, let me apologize for that. We're going to multiply 23 over 63, and we're going to multiply that by 1 over 2. Or we add 63 to itself, which is 126. Therefore, we'll have 23 over 126. Yeah, so let's put that in red. So we'll have 23. So this is going to be 23 over 126, right? 23 over 126, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work already, right? Now, here's how you're going to make your life a little bit easier. Let's think about this over here. This part over here, yeah? 63 and this. Now, let's imagine this for a moment, right? Let's imagine this. Let us imagine that you're going to have 63 divided by, well, not, sorry. I was thinking about the number 23, but that's the numerator. I want to focus on the denominator, which is this, right? The 126. So let's multiply 126 by 126, right? So we'll have 126 times 126. Now here's what makes this deal sweet. What if we call my brain keeps moving forward. Sorry. So what if we were to replace 126 with, get this now, what if we replace it with 63 times 2 and 63 times 2? What if that's what we're trying to do? Then what would happen is that we would end up with a cancellation here, a cancellation here. So 63 divided by 63 is going to be a 1 up there. So ultimately, instead of 63 times 2, which is 126, well, just add 120. Great. I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep forgetting to change that. So, right, when we add 100. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That's really not, that one was not my fault. So now, the denominator that we're going to get after solving what goes on over here, when we multiply 63 by, 1 over 26 times 1 over 26, I mean, 1 over 126 times 1 over 126. Okay, that makes sense? Yeah. So basically, the denominator at the end of everything will be 252, right? So let's just put that in our head, right? And I always take screenshots. So just in case we forget our place, we can always go back. So let's get rid of that 63. Let's get rid of that. The denominator is going to be 252. And the square of 23, we'll just put that up above. So let's, 23 by 23. All right, so we have a 69 here. And a 46. Okay, so that's 529. All right, good. So the numerator for this situation is going to be 529, whereas the denominator for this situation is going to be 252. Right? So I wanted to get that out of the way. Now, mind you, I could put an equal 0 behind it, but we'll save that for later. Right? Now, I mean, obviously, you could reduce the numbers, right? But you know what? I like the challenge. So let me just challenge myself, right? Okay. So we have 252 times 6 and 252 times 5. So let's see. Oh, okay. That is interesting. I did not remember that. All right, so, okay, so this is going to be 12. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then the last thing now, we're going to have 2 here, 1 here. Ah, right. So for multiplying 252 by 6, we're going to have 1512. And then, of course, the next thing we're going to have is 1260. So we're going to have this. Yeah. All right. So we're going to have 14,112. Right? Yeah. So our answer is going to be 14,112. Now we can always use our calculator to verify that. Right? So I will take a second to verify it. Okay, yes, so the confirmation, yeah, tells us that this is correct. So now, instead of having 56 over 1, we're going to have 14,112 over 252, right? So that's what we're going to do next, yeah? So let's see. Let's see, so we're gonna do this, get rid of that, all right? So the new denominator is going to be what? 252. The numerator is going to be 14. Right. So that's what we're going to have, yeah? All right. So now, just to make our lives a little bit easier, what are we going to do? Really? Really? Anybody that more, do you know? Did not want to do that. Good, 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 good. Now that they share a denominator, right? Everything will be over 252, right? So let's add that to the 529. And now we will have the number 14,641, right? Yeah. So hopefully that resolves quite a few of our problems, right? Now, there's one thing you want to do when you're doing this. When you are doing this, that number that you have as your numerator, square root it and see what you get. So when you square root, you know what? Look at it. Oh, Lord. It's a part of the Pascal's triangle. All right. In Pascal's triangle, you have 1, then 1, 2, 1, then 1, 3, 3, 1, then 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Then it gets ridiculous. It becomes 1, 5, 10. What? Wait, hold on. Let me make. All right. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Okay, yeah. Right. Anyhow, yeah. Anyway, that's a pattern situation. Something that we don't want to take up this entire time explaining that. Right? So I forgot something about this left-hand side here, right? Now, to make your life easier, you're just going to assume that x plus 23 over 126 all squared is the result of squaring that entire figure. Just so that it makes sense, let me explain what I mean. If we were to rewrite up there as x plus 23 over 126, right? And we do this, yeah? That is exactly what is happening up here. Now, it don't look that way, but it is most certainly the case. The question is, why? Why is that the case? Because if you add 23 to 23, you'll get 46, right? So if you get 46 over 126, and you divide the 46 and 126 by 2, you'll end up with 23 over 63. So literally, if you were to expand this, let me show you what it would look like. It would look like, so let's make sense of this now, right? It would look something like, so we'd have the x squared, 23 over 63, 23 over 63, and 23 over 126, right? So obviously all of this would be squared. So we'd have this here, that here, and that right there. Yeah? Now, why does this make sense? Because you don't have a choice at this point. You will have to group these like terms, right? So when you group them now, you end up with, hold on, you end up with 46 over Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. There's something I did wrong. There is something I did wrong. So hold on. Okay. What it really should have been, I should have had 23 over 126 and another 23 over 126. That's really what I should have had, right? So let me apologize for that blunder right there. Yeah? Right. Right. Yeah. This is what it should be. So yeah. So this is why you have to be very careful when you're doing this. So what is happening is that if you were to expand it, right? Because 23 over 126 times 23 over 126 means that you would have two of them. So you'd have a 23 over 126 plus another 23 over 126. When you get that now, you will end up with 46x over 126, right? So let's just 46x. Right, there we go. There we go. And now we've proven that it's the same thing. Yeah? Because if you divide 46 by 2, you get 23. If you divide 126 by 2, you get 63. So just so that we understand what's happening, we are dividing 46x by 2, and it gives us 23x. We divide this by 2, we get 63. Yeah? So I just wanted to explain what is happening on the left. So therefore, when we move from that now and we simplify it to look like this, when we simplify it to say, okay, well, this is really right, then no, we should not be too confused by all of this. Yeah? I know that was very elaborate, and I apologize if it came across long-winded, but I wanted to explain why is it that we can simplify it to look like this. Because if we were, all right, let me show you a better way to explain it, right? So let's say I write this out, yeah? What is really happening is really this. X plus 23 over 126 is being multiplied by X plus 23 over 126. This is what is literally happening. So you're going to get X times X, which is X squared, X times 23 over 126, and then 23 over 126 by X, and then 23 over 126 by 23 over 126. Right? So after we get, so let's check the stages. This is the first stage of it, right? Just so we understand. Then when we expand this, what happens next is this, right? When we expand this, the first term we get is, we get X squared. Then we get 23 over 126 X. We get another 23 over 126 X. Then we get 23 over 126, all of it being squared, right? So this is the second stage of the expansion, yeah? So therefore, when we group 23x plus 23x, I mean, really what happened is this. What you really ended up with was this, right? And they were both joined by what? The same denominator, right? And then what happened when you have 23 plus 23? You end up with what? You end up with 46, right? There we have it. Now, it justifies what I explained before, right? So now you divide that by 2 and that by 2, you get 23 over 63 as a coefficient of x, yeah? This is why when we simplify what we're looking at, it's easier for us to call it x plus 23 over 126 squared. So in other words, if we want to make our life nicer, right? Focus on this, the x. When you square root this, you get this, right? When you square root this, you get this. So therefore, this, when you square root this, you get x. When you square root this, well, you get 23 over 126. And then you put them together, right? You have a plus or a minus, depending on whatever the situation is. All of it squared. And if you were to expand, it would look like this. And there you have it, right? So hopefully that's easy to understand. So you know what? Let's just split this in parts, yeah? But before I continue with all of that, I'd like to say we still are learning the Likkle maths. Still are learning the Likkle maths.